Boker Tov. Good morning, Rechavia and Achlaot in Yerushalayim. Thank you for joining us. Last week I was away for a couple of days with a family in the north, and so Baruch HaShem, it was a great re-energizer. We still did the Tuesday night class from afar, but now we're back to every day, Monday to Thursday, learning Tanya. We're going to start sort of a new subject. It's still Sha'ar, ha-Yichud ve'emunah, Perek Chet, chapter 8, and Sunday mornings we'll continue with Rabbi Diamond, and of course we thank Rabbi Diamond very much for filling in last week, almost the entire week, and of course thank you to Raya and Mordechai for making it all possible. At the end of this class we have a special announcement, first time announcement, big event, first time ever that we're going to be announcing this event online, and so I look forward to sharing that with you right before the end of today's class. The name of this part of the Tanya is called Sha'ar, ha-Yichud ve'emunah, the gate of oneness of HaShem and faith in HaShem. Here and there, throughout the first 7 chapters, we've been mentioning it very, very short, the concept of Yichud, of the oneness of HaShem. But now we're going to delve into this subject. This is based, faith in the oneness of Hashem is based on 2 points. One point is that there is no other entity besides for Hashem. This point we've discussed at great length in the first 7 chapters. But now we're going to put a focus on the second point, which is that Hashem himself is one, Echad. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, one God. Only one, not two, and no, not more than two. The oneness of Hashem is the type of oneness that there's no other comparison in any way, shape, or form in the world that we can have this one entity. And as the Rambam concludes, this is what it says in the verse, HaShem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. And we've learned that in the Rambam recently. We also learned about it in the Chumash the last couple of weeks, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. And we also had an extensive talk, Kabbalah Cafe, a couple of weeks ago on the subject. So the Alter Rebbe is going to explain this concept of oneness of Hashem, that there's no other God besides for Hashem. There's only one and no more, according to the teachings of Kabbalah and Chassidut, right here, starting chapter 8. So please open your Tanya in the original text to Perek Chet, chapter 8 of the Sha'ar, ha-Yichud ve'emunah. Let's start in the beginning. In fact, we learned a couple of times, the Alter Rebbe quoted what the Rambam says, that the uniqueness of Hashem is that hu ha-Yodea, hu ha-Mada, v'hu ha-Yodua. He is the knower, he is the known, and he is the knowledge. By a human being, you have almost 3 separate entities. You have the individual, the person. You have the information. So before he learns the information is in a book. It's not connected to the person, it's information, but it's in the book. He didn't open it. He did not open it yet. Then, after he opens it and learns it, now there is a new entity of the person knowing what it says in the book. By Hashem, it's all one. There's nothing else besides for Hashem. There's nothing else in the world aside for Hashem. Even something which seems to be something total, as we're going to see in a few minutes, something which seems to be totally other than Hashem, nothing connected, it's all part of Hashem. Let's see inside in the text. Beginning of chapter 8. V'hinei, and behold, ma shekatav ha-Rambam Zal, that which the Rambam wrote, the holy Rambam. And we went to visit the Rambam's kever last week when we went to the north in Tveria. That was very, very moving for all of our family. שהקדוש ברוך הוא מהותו ועצמותו ודעתו hakol echad mamash. The essence of Hashem, the core, the being of Hashem and His knowledge is all one. Achdut pshuta, simple oneness. V'lo murkevet klal, and it's not made up of all kinds of different factors. Kain ha'inyan mamash, so to the exact concept. V'chol midotav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with all of the attributes of Hashem. Uvechol shmotav hakadoshim, and with all of His holy names, the hakinuyim, and His, so to speak, nicknames and the ways that we refer to Him. Shekinu la neviim v'chazal, that our sages and the prophets have called Hashem. What the Alter Rebbe is saying over here is that when the Rambam talks about the oneness of Hashem with His knowledge, that also applies to His attributes. It's all one, literally. And as the Rambam says, that it's echad, one, she'en ki yichudo echad min ha'achadim hanimtzaim ba'olam. It's not like any other type of oneness that we find in the world, as we're going to see in a second, a couple of examples. The Rambam says, Lo echad kimin shu kolel achadim harbe. It's not like one type, which includes within itself many details. V'lo echad, and not the oneness, kiguf, like a body, shu nechlak l'machlokot v'l'ktzavot, which is divided into portions and ends, different directions. Ela yichud, rather it's a oneness. She'ein yichud acher k'moto be'olam. There's no other oneness like that in the entire world. So let's talk about a couple of examples. First of all, the Rambam himself brings an example of a body. So you have a body which is divided into a head, body, arms, legs, and each one is made up of many, many different particles, and each one of that is made up of millions and billions of cells, which all of them work in unison. That is one of the greatest things that we say about Hashem, as we say in the bracha of Sha'ar Yatzar after going to the bathroom. Baruch atah Hashem, rofech al basar. Hashem is the healer of all flesh, umaflila asot, and is wondrous to accomplish, to do. This unbelievable body that Hashem puts together. So you could either look at the body as being one body, or you can look at the body as being an entity which has all kinds of points that are connected to it, all kinds of details in the body. Now, when we look at the body as far as the different details, you would say that all these details are made up of one body. The one body is made up of the details, I meant to say. So we still have the concept of many details. If you look at the one body, you're not paying attention to the details. You're focusing just on the fact that it's one body. But if we talk about the body as being part of many parts, it's still one body on one hand, but it's broken down into many parts. Let's take another example of the soul and the midot. A person is kind. A person is smart. A person looks good. A person is beautiful. Many details about the person. So when we start talking about the individual, you can talk about the nefesh. The nefesh is the soul. That's the source, the core of the individual. And then you can talk about how the person expresses himself in different ways, in different moods. But all of those are just different ways of expressing oneself to the world. But you have the nefesh itself. So are all of these different parts of the nefesh, are they one with the nefesh, with the soul, or not? By the human being, it's two different things. You have the soul, and all of the midot, all of the external, the expressions of the soul. True, the soul expresses itself through the attributes and the different levels of action of the person. But at the end of the day, it's two different things. You have the nefesh, and you have the midot, and the sechel. Each one is different. By HaShem, it's all one. So you have the essence of HaShem, you have His Ein Sof Chesed, you have His Ein Sof Gvura. All of these are an expression of HaShem, but they're not separate from Him. Unlike by the nefesh, unlike by the body, because Hashem's oneness cannot be compared to any other type of oneness. By any other type of oneness is oneness, which is made up of many details. By Hashem, to begin with, there is nothing else besides for Hashem. It's all one. It's all Him. Let's bring another example of what the Alter Rebbe explains in the first portion of the Tanya in chapter 5. The Alter Rebbe writes about Torah, that when we learn Torah, there is a tremendous oneness which is brought about through us and Hashem. Our finite mind, our finite brain can actually connect to the infinite, to Hashem's infinite Torah. Chochmato ha'en-sofit shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem Almighty's infinite Torah, wisdom. Now, when a regular person reads a book or learns a subject, so the information goes into the mind. The information that you've learned goes into the mind. So there's some kind of relationship, of bonding between the mind and the information that comes in, the knowledge. But when it comes to learning Torah, not only does the knowledge go inside the brain, but the brain also, the Torah wraps around the brain. That is an unbelievable type of yichud, of unification. And Alter Rebbe says, "Mikol ein yichud kamou mikol tzad upina." There is no union in the world which is totally connected to Hashem when we learn Hashem's Torah. So this is just another example of where, when we connect to Hashem, we sort of lift ourselves up to have a similar type of yichud like Him. Just like by Hashem, He and His knowledge, or Hashem and His chesed are all one. Hashem and His chachma, it's all one. So too, when we learn Torah, we also tend to have a similar type of yichud with Hashem, a unification with Hashem, which totally bonds us with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's called echad. Echad. Echad means one, and as the Rambam explains, like we said earlier, that it's echad she'ein yichud acher k'moto ba'olam, like no other unification in the world. So let's continue. Kegon, for example, Chanun, that Hashem is gracious, V'rachum, and Hashem is compassionate, V'chasid, and acts with us beyond the level which he is expected, so to speak. V'kayotze behen, and so too. All of these are different ways how Hashem, quote unquote, acts with us and the world. So, if we talk in human terms, so you have the nefesh, And then you have all of these other expressions of the soul. But by Hashem, it's all one. That's what the Alter Rebbe is going to say now. V'chein ma shenikra chacham. So too, when Hashem is called wise, a chacham d'chtiv, as it says in the verse, the gam hu chacham, and he is wise. V'chein ritzono, it's even a higher level. Ritzono is the will of Hashem, the ratzon. As it says in the verse, ki rotzeh Hashem et yireav, that Hashem wants those that fear Him. The chafetz chesed, who Hashem desires chesed, it's even a higher level. V'rotzeh b'tshuvatam shel rishayim, and Hashem wants the tshuva of the evil. V'eino chafetz b'mitatam u'v'rishatam, and Hashem does not desire their death and their evilness. U'tohor einayim merot bara, and the pure eyes from seeing bad. In other words, we try even not to see. Hashem doesn't even want to see the bad. Hashem just wants good. All of these verses explain that Hashem expresses Himself in some way, shape, or form. And therefore, it's important that we realize that all of the above are all one with Hashem. Not only Rachum, not only the Midot, not only the intellect of Hashem, not only the Ein Sof, the infinite will of Hashem and desire of Hashem, which is even higher than a Chachma, Ratzon, Keter, Pnimiyut Keter, all of the above are not in addition to Hashem, they're one with Hashem. Ein ritzoto v'chochmato umidat chasdo v'rachmanuto ush'ar midotav. His will, Hashem's infinite will, His chachma wisdom, His chesed, kindness, and His compassion, ush'ar midotav, and the other emotions, mosifim bo ribui v'harkava chas v'shalom. They do not add in Him any type of increasing numbers, or blended, God forbid, with something else. The mahutov v'atzmuto, and Hashem's essence and core. Ella, only. Atzmuto, Hashem's essence. Umahuto, and His being. Uritzono, and His will. V'chochmato, and His wisdom. Ubinato, and His understanding. Vidato, and His knowledge. Umidat chasdo, and the midah of His chesed. Ugvurato, and His strength, severity. V'rachmanuto, and His compassion, which is connected to the Tiferet. And he says, V'tifarto, and His beauty. Haklula, which is included from the first two midot. Mechasdo ugvurato, from His kindness and His severity. V'chein sha'ar midotav hakdoshot. And so too His other holy midot. Hakol achdut pshuta mamash. It's all simple achdut, oneness. Shehi atzmuto umoto. For it is His essence and His being. In other words, by human being, it's a nefesh, it's a soul, which is made up of other parts. Even if it's connected, but it's made up of other parts. But by Hashem, it's Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hashem's essence is one achdut, is one simple oneness of Hashem. Now, how is that possible? How is it possible if you have, by definition, you have other things besides for Him, which are His midot? By the definition, by saying that they're His midot, so there's Him and His emotion, Him and His chokhmah. So, simply, how is that possible? It doesn't seem to make sense in our terminologies and the way that we speak, the way that we express ourselves. It just can't be. It's hard for us to understand how it can actually be simple, pure achdut, oneness. Therefore, the Alter Rebbe continues in the text. As the Rambam explained, of blessed memory, shedavar zeh, that this concept, ein koach bapel amro, our mouths cannot say this. We don't have it doesn't make sense to us. V'lo be'ozen l'shamo, and not in the ear to hear this. V'lo b'lev ha'adam lahakiro al boryo. There's no way that we can really understand it. You see, there are different types of understanding. I would like to address just two of them, two general ones. One is to know something. You know an object. You have a mask, and you know exactly what the mask is. You know how it works, where it hooks on, and you even know that it says Chabad of Rechavia. So this is the best mask that works best. If you don't have one yet, you got to come by the office. We still have some left. And you know pretty much what color it is, what size it is. Pretty much you know everything about it, for an example. Then there are some things which we don't understand. At least we know what we don't understand. It's way too deep for us. And we know we don't understand it. So for example, one of my kids asked me on the trip, how are we able to use a cell phone? There's no wire. And in the other end of the world, in a split moment, as if the person is standing right in front of you, we're able to hear them clearly. Now to see them. How is that possible? So I answered them, and do you understand how a regular telephone works? With a wire? So it's almost as to say, I understand how the regular phone works, but I don't understand how the cell phone works. And with many other types of technology, which we have no clue. Most of us have no clue into how it works. So that's called Yidi'at Hashlila. Knowledge. We have basic knowledge that there are these electrons and these things that are connected, but we don't have any clue. Someone told me last night about 57 rockets, spaceships that were sent into out of space yesterday or something like that, and these things come back 10 times back and forth. They come right back to the place where unbelievable technology, the way it's being developed, and it's becoming faster and faster, deeper and deeper, more amazing as time goes along. So at least we know that we have no idea what it is. So we don't really know what it is, but we know that we're talking about a subject that we pretty much have no clue into. That's called Yidiyat HaShlila. So when it comes to HaShem, we have a mitzvah, which this is the first line, the first opening statement of the Sha'ar ha-Yichud ve'emunah. V'yadata hayom. We have to know today. V'hashevota el levavecha, and take to heart. Ki Hashem hu Elokim. That Hashem is our God. V'yadata, you should know. So on one hand, it's a lifetime mission to learn about Hashem and to learn Chassidus and to learn Hashem's Torah. But at the end of the day, we have to realize that the ultimate knowledge of Hashem is the higher level, Yidi'at HaShlila. Knowing that we don't know. Knowing that we will never know. And that's not a weakness. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a healthy thing. Like the great phrase that it says in Chazal, Tachlit ha-yidiyah shalom nidacha. The ultimate knowledge of Hashem is that we will never know you, Hashem. So the more we learn, the more we realize that we will never know you. The more we realize how awesome you are, how amazing you are, how infinite you are, and how we will never ever get to know you at all. But on the other hand, it sounds like an oxymoron. you're learning about Hashem, and we have a mitzvah to have more knowledge of Hashem. But in the same breath, you're telling me that we will never know Hashem. That's beautiful. If a person is an egotist, then a person can think to themselves, wow, I want to know. It's all about me. And if I don't know, close the book. I don't want to know anything about it. But if a person is humble, and if a person realizes, I want to know Hashem, I want to get closer, the closer you get to Him, the more you realize that you'll never know Him. That's unbelievable. That's awesome. That's encouraging. That's uplifting. It's not degrading and diminishing a person's own ego. On the contrary, a person becomes more special. The more humble we get, the more humble we become, the closer we get to Hashem. And the same thing is by Hashem. Gdulato zohi anvitanuto. His greatness is how small He is, so to speak. How much He can be connected to us. And that's a beautiful relationship that each one of us, Hashem and us, we want to be connected to each other. And the smaller we feel by ourselves, the greater relationship we have with Hashem. And so therefore the Rambam says, and we'll continue tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem, but the Rambam says that in koach b'peh la'amro, we don't know how to say these things because we don't really know the yediat ha-metziut. We know that we don't know. We know how much more there is to learn. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, Raya and Mordechai, for hosting this shiur. B'ezrat Hashem will continue tomorrow, and also tomorrow evening. Seriously happy. Our class in English in Chassidut at 7:30 p.m. And here is the big announcement. In 1 month, B'ezrat Hashem, on a Sunday evening, we're going to have, for the first time ever, a concert and a webathon to benefit Chabad of Rechavia with great entertainers, and which will be an online concert. Many details to come very soon of who the entertainers will be, and we're going to ask you all to please spread the word to the entire world. Our slogan and website is going to be bringing Jerusalem to the world, because there are many people who want to come here to Yerushalayim for the Chagim, and they're not going to be able to come here as always. And so we are going to bring Yerushalayim and Chabad of Rechavia to the entire world in a most meaningful and an exciting way. So many details to come. I'm happy to share this with you. And as soon as the advertisement will come out, B'ezrat Hashem, very soon, we'll let you know more details. All the best. Be well. Toda Rabah. And have a great day. Be well.